ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this special meeting of Filey Town Council. Warm welcome to our borough councillors, members of the public, welcome you all, and thank you for attending fellow councillors. Could I please ask if you've all read the emergency evacuation procedures, which should be on your seat. In the event the alarm does go off, if we can make our way out of the room to the fire escape, which is just outside, down the stairs, round the corner of the building, and the assembly point is on the corner of Queen Street and Member Street. To that end, I hope you've all signed in, just in case we do need to account for everyone in the state of emergency. The town council is recording this meeting this evening, so if there's anybody who does not wish to be recorded, we have a duty of care to be vigilant of that. So is there anybody who doesn't wish to be recorded? So again, does any other member of the public wish to record this meeting? No? Okay then. If I could ask that all mobile phones are turned to off or silent, and then I will declare this meeting open. Item 1 on the agenda is notice of meeting. Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is apologies. To note any apologies for absence and to accept the reasons thereof. Julie.
Councillor Kevin Wilkie, personal commitment, and Councillor Jackie Holden Banks, personal commitment. No apologies accepted.
Can I place your hand, please? Thank you very much. And the reasons accepted? Yes. Thank you very much. Item 3 on the agenda, declaration of interest. Members are reminded of the need to consider whether they have a disclosable pecuniary interest or a personal interest as detailed in Appendix A and Appendix B of the Town Council's Code of Conduct, and to declare in any of the items on this agenda. If so, the nature of the interest must be declared, and in addition, an attached form must be completed and passed to the clerk. Are there any declarations of interest from members of the council?
Anything to do with the bank. I'm personal friends with one of the owners.
Okay. Thank you very much. Councillor Wright.
Is that our personal pecuniary interest?
Oh, it's just personal. I have no money interest at all. I don't have any, so.
Excuse me. Item 4 on the agenda is public question time. To receive questions on items on the agenda from members of the public, I remind 15 minutes is allocated to this. Are any members of the public wishing to speak?
Sorry, I just wanted to make a comment on item 9, if it's possible to do that.
Yes, if you'd like to stand, state your name for the record, please.
Marilyn Anderson. I just wanted to say that you're putting forward for the Town Council requested to submit their ideas. Will there be a possible chance for people, members of the public, to put their ideas into the council?
If members of the public wish to pass forward any ideas, yes, I think we've discussed strategic planning meeting, didn't we? And we said public consultation would be welcomed.
Do you know what form that will take at this stage?
Not at this stage, no. But we will certainly be welcoming any contributions from the public.
Okay, thank you.
If you've got an idea now that you want to put forward, or if you want to put it in writing to the council, or if you know anybody else that has an idea, could be dropped in.
Wait until then, or now?
Now, if you wish.
Well, we have talked about the strategic planning meeting about looking at Aqua's House, and about getting a bid in for Aqua's House. The only problem is, of course, with the time it's taken for us to get round to this, we've missed the money for this year, so that obviously could be a problem. But hopefully we can look for somewhere that we can have some indoor entertainment for the children in the school holidays, for the people, the tourists are coming in. When it rains, they all go home. There's no anywhere of any inside interest apart from the museum, I think. Also, access to the beach is really difficult for a lot of the older people. And I do know personally older people that come to Filey and don't ever go down to the beachfront. they can get down, they can't get back up. And looking at, I don't know, some access down there, whether it be a land train or whether it be Peninsula Railway or a lift or something like that. I'm sure the funding would be available for that on the Coastal Communities Fund. And the other thing that worries me about Filey is the car parking. We really do struggle, and particularly the residents of Filey do struggle to park anywhere near the wrong property. So those were just sort of three ideas there.
Very well, we welcome those. Your input, thank you very much indeed. Very members of the public who should speak on anything else? Sorry, I have to believe yes. This lady had her hand up first time.
Okay.
I'll catch you in a minute.
No.
If you'd like to stand and give your name.
Sam Clark, and the question is, will members of the public be able to comment on item 6A?
Certainly.
At the right time. At the right time, yes.
That's okay, that's
Is
why.
that okay?
Yeah, just wanted to know when it extended to it.
Yes. So there's nothing else on the public question time. We'll move on to item 5 on the agenda, Scarborough Borough Council's local plan examination. Members have been circulated a copy of the Town Council's submission, which stands and cannot be amended, unfortunately. It is a representative does attend, they can only reiterate what has been submitted. Do you know?
Yes, it's really, members have got this in front of them. It's whether they would like to send a representative to represent the Town Council when the inspector is present.
Yeah.
I think Councillor Walker, you wanted to comment.
Yes, all being well, I will be going there on that day.
That's September the 8th.
But all I can say is what was the council has reiterated about it in the first place. I can't add any more to it. Yes, but borough councillors can.
Sorry, he's just announcing later
Sorry, could I just bring Councillor Coughlin on this?
Yeah, there are
Then standing on, please, first.
I have followed the information, there are some other dates available as well. It isn't just that one day.
Yeah, I do believe it runs into October as well, yeah.
Yeah, but there are some specific dates relating to
To Filey.
to Filey, yeah.
Sorry, Councillor Shafton, please.
Yeah, I'd just like to ask, Chair, have we been asked to attend the meeting? And if so, will we be able to speak? You know, we've already sent this report in.
You can only reiterate what you've already sent in. You can't add to it. We haven't specifically been asked. We've said the inspector may like somebody to be present, but we've not been specifically asked.
Are we all happy for Councillor Walker to attend this event? Okay, thank you very much. Item 6 on the agenda, planning applications. To consider the following planning applications. A. Outline application for up to 124 holiday lodges with full details for development of a function room and the vehicular access from the A1/5 at the Parade, Laura Oak, Filey for Essential Vivendi Limited. You can all see on the full screen. Have you got a clear view there?
Thank you.
Yeah. Area in green highlighted there. Yeah, keep turning that. Members of the council, comments please. You've got full copies, Anna, in your of all the plans and all the relevant documentation. Members have only been given these paper copies this evening, so it may take a little while for them to just have a look, although we have had access to them online. But some people prefer paper copies, which you know is obviously hard to peruse. Also on your desk this evening, members, you've received a ream of paper, highlighted elements in it of various features, particularly local nature conservation, protection of open countryside. We may need just a couple of minutes to cover those as well. Gina, can we bring you in on this as well?
Yes, Maureen and I just put some comments together for members to consider regarding the policies of the borough local plan and how this application may contravene those policies. So we've highlighted the areas of those policies in yellow for you and listed them on the other comments on the front sheet. So in particular, policy E1, protection of open countryside, E2, the coastal zone, E4, the protection of landscape features, the wildlife corridor, E6, the protection of open space, E7 and E10, the protection of local nature conservation sites and species protection. So as members have paid particular attention to those areas and the other comments that we've listed.
Councillor Goldman.
I'm on the planning committee, and for a long while now we've said that we're overdue a garden there because it's growing fast and vigorously. But I would personally like to have a look at that because I actually, although we've got the maps and things, I'd actually like to see what, for myself, the actual land that we're talking about, just so I can have a better insight as to, what we're talking about. We talked about the flooding, we talked about the wildlife. I think I'd like to go and have a look personally, so to be shown around, just to see exactly what we're planning on, and like the road and things. I mean, there's also, we've got to think of, if we're going to build any more, our facilities in Filey are already stretched. The doctor's surgery can't start with anything else. I think if it does, I mean, if you're talking now, you can't get appointment now until after September. Well, I think, perhaps we've got a pharmacy on his side, if that's what he's got with the doctor's surgery. That would be really good pressure from Filey.
I think that certainly needs adding to the list.
Do we know if he's going to build as the landscape is at present, or is he going to level it? If tries leveling it, that's it.
But it actually contravenes the defined permitted development limits of the Antrim Park site. It was formerly known as Antrim Park, and it's now known as the Bay, but it's actually outside of its permitted development limits, is this outline application.
Well, it'll speak for itself, doesn't it?
Councillor Shepperson?
I've been looking online today, as probably many other councillors have, and there's many objections, and they're all for various reasons. Yorkshire Wildlife Trust for one, whilst not 100% behind the scheme, but they do ask that the size of the development be reduced because they're concerned about loss of habitat. But we do have lots of holiday accommodation. To the north we've got Caton Bay, Blue Dolphin, Flower Bay, Clifftop. To the south of the borough we've got Primrose Valley, Reeton Sands, and the Bay which Councillor Glanville had already said is growing out of proportion really. How many more holiday lets do we need around Filey? We're in danger of losing our open spaces to developments such as this. I feel it's time that, you know, we stood up and put a stop to this. I'm dead against it.
Well, it was my understanding on the first original plans we got for that development that that area that is particularly under consideration now was always going to be open space and for a wildlife meadow habitat.
Can I come back on that,
Yes,
Chair? Reading some of the comments online, not from owners, because I think they're barred from objecting to such development, that there obviously have been people that's been there for holidays and obviously they've discussed with the owners, and apparently the owners were told that no development would be on that land.
Councillor Hampstead?
If we go back to virtually day one of the proposal for the whole development, it originally came in that there was going to be a filling station, a restaurant, sports developments, and particularly a greenhouse development which took advantage of an underground aquifer which runs hot, and they were going to extract the hot water and run a greenhouse system on it commercially. And from that day it's evolved into just what is in effect a village without the facilities a village would normally have, putting the burden, as you rightly said, on Filey, dentists, doctors and parking and everything else. It is a gross overdevelopment, and am I right in saying this company has already been prosecuted for newts in the past, which potentially illustrates their attitude to them? I don't know, but you know, they've already been prosecuted for that. You know, it is a wildlife area. Even Butlins never developed that far. It's part of the coastal infrastructure, it's the coastal strip. How far do they go? You know, that every week we read about them putting more and more applications in for the odd 1 or 2, 3 or 4 houses. And it has way grown beyond the original planning application. And it's just got beyond what we can accept, I'm afraid. We must say no, because if you look at the plan, there is an access onto Moor Road at Humberby Gap, which is so narrow as it is. I mean, we as an emergency service have problems at times getting down there. You know, it's not built to take that amount of traffic. The main road is now suffering with traffic jams, particularly Primrose Valley and the Bay development. You know, it's nose to tail from the roundabout onwards. It just cannot accept any more. But I do particularly worry about our access to doctors in Filey. You know, when you're going to wait 2 weeks to see a doctor, it's becoming ridiculous. You know, we must say no to this.
Any other councillors before I suspend standing orders? Councillor Walker?
Yes, me and Councillor Meek have been up there and visited the site, and to be honest, they're going to have to move a lot of soil before they can actually put the units in there. They are, and the entrance to it is comes past the main pond, lake there, and that's going to disturb any wildlife, whatever there is down there. And while I was there was a motorboat flying about on that lake as well. And the other 2 ponds that are further across, those 2 there, they're pretty well grown up with vegetation and that, so they're fine as they are, those. The wildlife and the newts and whatever else is in out of those ponds will be okay. Yes. Yeah. But as far as I can see, and Councillor Meek has the same idea as this, the amount of soil that's going to be moved in there is colossal. It really is. Where's it going? Whereabouts are they going to put it? Will one of the ponds get filled in? You don't know, do you? You really don't know. And this is what you have to keep an eye on. The other thing is the access road that they used to go into the old site, which is still there. It's got a padlock on it, right? Now, will that be used as an entrance as well? Or will that be determined as an emergency entrance, where just ambulances, fire engine and, of course, John's crew can get in there? But we don't know. And after all, this isn't a full application for building knowledge. This isn't. It isn't. You know, so what do we do? But I'm certainly dead against it. There's enough round about as it is. What we've got olive camps on both sides of us here, and I think we've got enough. As Councillor Haxby said, you have a heck of a job getting an appointment at the doctor's in Filey. I don't know what it's like in Hunmanby. I don't go to that doctor's, but I presume that's getting as bad. You know, we've got a couple of doctors down now in Filey, which is making it worse. So, to be honest, any more in Filey, I'm certainly against it.
Bring Councillor Shackleton back in and Councillor Haxby.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, Chair, that is what's planned at the present moment. That as we've seen with this development happening there, coming back with amendments of conditions nearly every month for different things. So I'm a bit worried that is that what we're going to finish up with, or something absolutely completely different?
Councillor Haxby?
A lot of questions have been asked of me as to what the occupancy of them are going to be. The existing site, as I understand it, is 11 months a year. Is that correct? Now, as I understand it, Scarborough Council just don't have the staff to monitor that. And I've been asked if that is monitored because there are a lot of people who believe some of those houses are in permanent residences. And nobody can actually police that, nobody can check it. Scarborough Council haven't the resources to do that. Now these are holiday lodges, again, what will be the rules of occupancy and how is it going to be policed? I don't believe it ever will be, and it will become permanent. And as the existing development, this will just spread. Once they get 124, it will become 150 and 175, and it will grow and grow. But I do really worry about the storage system. Councillor Cockrell and I have been on the flood committee for years and years, and we know that this will discharge into the Filey system, end up down at the Cobble Landing and pump to Muster, and end up back out Tidy Brig. Now the system does overflow in wet weather as it is. This will only add to the volume going out onto the beach. Now we're all worried about our beach as it is, and we need to keep it as clean as we can. I'm just worried that we haven't got the infrastructure on the sewerage and drainage system to cope with it. These are just two additional factors that we need to look at.
Right, okay then, I will suspend standing orders now and bring in members of the public who would like to have...
Can I say something about the waste management?
Yeah, if you'd like to stand up and give your name, please.
I'm Zoe Thomas, and one of the notices on the slide that you put up was about waste management, because the Censorship Vendor have this plot quite a long time for the sort of building, and they put some waste Butland chalets on that site to get rid of them, and those chalets had asbestos roofs, so are we going to be discharging asbestos into the environment as well?
I don't mind, I'll do that.
If you could give your name, please.
Okay, my name's Keith Blackwood. I live down at Hunmanby Gap. Just to go with what Councillor Shackleton was going on talking about, and Councillor Hackby, this company has been prosecuted on a number of occasions, not just in regard to the newts, which, rightly or wrongly, a lot of people deal with it quite lightheartedly. But what was more interesting was they were also prosecuted by Scarborough Borough Council, because contrary to their planning permission, they then actually dug out a huge pathway and a road down to the beach and caused lots and lots of erosion. Now, if they're prepared to do that, and then just pay the fine and smile about it. We've got great concern, myself and my wife, about where this is going to stop. One of my biggest issues relates to what Councillor Haxby was talking about, the current emergency access road that actually never had any permission to be built. It just appeared. They put gates across, they put padlocks on it. They, for at least 12 months of the year, all of them, they have piles of gravel, they have piles of bark, etc., blocking that route. So if it is supposed to be an emergency access, we've got great concern about anyone can get into it. But when they did the traffic report, which they've made quite a big deal about, and they brought a whole company in to do this, I think it's full of slightly bit of mirror and smoke. They've started off by using a table that denotes how many vehicles will be used the site and about driving down the A165. What's really worrying is it was done on the figures they obtained in 2005. Well, in those 11 years, I don't think anybody here can possibly say we've not seen a massive increase in the amount of traffic that goes on that road. Secondly, they've tried to twist it by saying the original application was for 690 plus homes. They only built 500. Therefore, this 164 won't really add beyond the original application. Well, that's utter nonsense because of the general increase in traffic overall. They've also sort of talked about sight lines on the road, saying it's really clear and everything else. Well, when the new bypass was built, the sight line for what is Sands Road changed. So now, when you get to off the roundabout, you turn left and you look down and you can't see anything. So you drive along, you slam on your brakes because then there's half a dozen cars coming towards you. Lots and lots of blind dips. If anything happens in this development area, that road has got to be changed. It's got to be properly signed, it's got to be made wide enough. All the blank and sort of blind dips have got to be rectified. If anybody from the emergency services come around there, they've got no chance. So that's really difficult. They've also made a big thing about people can walk from this place into Hunnaby. I'm not a walker, but hey, I do mountain gear. If you walk on the seaside of the 165 towards Filey, there's a nice big pavement. Unfortunately, Scarborough Council doesn't enforce the fact that there are 8 to 9 vehicles permanently parked on it opposite area. That makes it a bit of a difficult option for anybody trying to walk along there. When you get on the other side, the land side, the footpath goes as far as the bus stop. We've noticed since I wrote my comments that someone's been out with a grass cutter, strimmer and a bit of weed killer and have been killing off the grass. It's really good, but unfortunately as you turn up the road, the old Bridlington Road, the path stops. There's no way of getting around to the footpath that then runs up to Hunnaby. It just doesn't exist. So these people who have written this traffic report have taken a few pictures, written a load of nonsense, and then just said, hey, great, you know, it's a nice big road, it's pitch black, cars speed beyond the 70 miles an hour, 70, 80, they're doing lots of things. It took the best part of 5 years for the council brackets this developer to actually illuminate the island that's in the middle of the road, because a number of cars ploughed into it. I don't know whether council actually is the fire brigade, or police.
Coast Guard.
So what, sorry?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard. Well, you wouldn't have been picking anybody dead from it, but there was a few people who smashed into them. So, I think what they're trying to do here is hit us with this, and then once they've got all this in, they'll do a swift job of perhaps selling this bit, and then the main access will come down Sands Lane, and our road, and I call it our road, will become an utter nightmare. It's already very difficult to drive along there. It's going to get even worse. And these people just haven't taken the slightest bit of notice of the way it is, and the way that they have total disregard for planning permission per se suggests that in the not too distant future they'll be doing other things as well. And that entertainment block was originally planned because somebody talked about not having enough facilities from the original plans. That entertainment block was going to be roughly where the offices are and the security office and the reception office. Unfortunately, it didn't get built because suddenly they were building those properties. They built them, that was going to be the front side of the site. Within a year, they then built a number of homes, 2 of them that go beyond that. So if Scarborough Borough Council Planning Department haven't got out there and had a look, those homes are already beyond. This company just has a complete disregard for the locals, for the council, for legislation. They just go ahead and deal with it when they pay money. We can't do that because we don't have the funds to do it. I'd like to think that this council will stand up for us and say, no, we don't want this place. Thank you, Councillor.
Any other public wishing to speak? Yes. Graham, would you like to speak?
It would have been nice if the council had expressed the same opposition, level of opposition, which they've just made here with respect to this development, also with respect to HA22 and HA23, which are now kind of in front of the planning inspector. The same opposition, the same things, we're now going down the same path as the other residents here. And it would have been nice if Filey Town Council had possibly, been more active in opposition to those developments. That's all, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to speak up in support not just of the residents and the general comments that they've made in response to this planning application. I'm particularly concerned. My first view on this is there was land that the Bay owned that they could have expanded onto. They chose to sell it to Bourne Leisure, so they had opportunity to expand. There was no need for them to go into this greenfield had they chosen to stay onto the land that they owned. We've had a couple of years of a local plan process. They had opportunity then to put this land forward. They had opportunity to put it through the process. Now, I'm not aware if they did, it was rejected. So they've had ample opportunity to get this land designated for development. So I sort of take the view, given that we're in the stage of a local plan, which is in its final stages of review by the inspector, that any application like this which breaches those limits and breaches the spirit of that plan, basically, in my view, bins the plan. Because basically it says every development limit in that plan is now irrelevant, and it isn't just about the Bay, it isn't just about Hummingbee Gap, it is every town and village across the borough. So it means Filey's all your development that you might as well forget it, because basically the point will have been conceded, and every developer across the borough will say, whoopie-doo, it's game on. Every piece of land I can see, I now want to develop. And they perfectly within their rights to go and ask for that. Why can't I develop? So I think this is an important point of principle here, and it's expanding beyond the development limits is extremely worrying in this situation. I've been on the site and I've visited it in the past, and I've walked around. I was pleasantly surprised by the site because it had ponds, it had a nice field of moorland. I thought it was very sympathetically done. Yes, there were issues there, but certainly no worse than other places that I've been. And I think particularly as this was the compensation land, because of the prosecutions, because of what was happening with development, it was set aside for those reasons. It should be maintained for those reasons. I don't believe that the mitigation put into the plan is adequate. And the reason I don't believe it is adequate is I don't believe that that middle bit in there, which is shown as green, to be left as green space, will be green space in 10 years' time if this goes ahead, because it's back into, go figure, it's testing the extent of the site. It doesn't seem to me that it also seems to me, from discussions I've had with residents within Hummingbee Gap, that many people have asked in the past about their properties. Could they look at putting housing? They've been specifically told, no, you're outside the development limits, it should apply to everybody and apply to everybody equally. Otherwise, why can't they develop on their land and they make the profit from that land? I'm also extremely worried about access onto Hummingbee Gap Road. It's presented to us as, look, it will be the main entrance from A165. The fact is there's a fully functioning exit there. If I move into that end, I'm going to want to be able to use that exit and go down to the beach. Why would I walk to a site? So I don't buy that one either. I'm also concerned, I suppose it was mentioned about this function room, and I understand this function room is for D2 use, which has a wide range of usage. It can be used for a lot of things. Wedding functions is one, which will go contrary to, I think, the spirit of the way the site is being run. There are lots of things that function room could be used for, and obviously we don't know what that would be licensed for, so therefore we don't know what the impact would be. And so I think that is an issue as well. I think within this, I think it does need to be picked up. What will that function room be used for? How will it be? And how will the amenity of the residents be protected? So that broader. But I think it is an important point of principle because it has bigger impact beyond that local area. Always a difficult one, but issues around infrastructure and services, because ultimately the old problem is that unfortunately the money for services tends to follow the number of houses or the number of residences. On a slightly separate point, I am taking up with the MP at the moment this issue around money provided for services in areas like this where the population doubles in the summer, because I think it's a massively important point. I believe it was raised by the Crime Commissioner with the Home Office, who acknowledged the problem, but said there's no money coming forward. But as far as I'm concerned, if they acknowledge there's a problem, the other departments need to acknowledge it, and then we move on to getting the money. So I just want to show people that that is an issue that I've got firmly in my sidelines. Although I don't think it's a planning issue, I do think it is an important issue going forward that we all need to start looking at. Is we need fair funding formula for areas like this. But I would urge you, obviously, to raise those concerns with South Borough Council or with the other relevant agencies. That's what we can.
It's Anne Clark. First of all, can I just make some observations on things that have already been said and correct from misconceptions. Wildlife experts have said that first ponds are not properly maintained and not maintained as they should be for the protection of the red-crested newts. And some of the mitigation that's been proposed with the wildlife corridors are actually in the wrong place. Another misconception is the access road onto the access gateway onto Sands Road. It is not the old Butlins access. Butlins had a field gate further down Sands Road, which was blocked up by this company, and they just made this current access near the where it's shown on the plan without planning permission. So that is not the original Butlins side access. There was something mentioned about asbestos, and comments have gone on the website within the past day or two. The asbestos is buried to the roundabout where the yellow bit is and the top bit of the green. So asbestos is buried there. I think local residents are very concerned about the loss of open space, the damage to the wildlife, and it's not just the great-crested newts. But there's been no mention of the badgers, and they should have done a badger survey. We know that other wildlife is not protected, but it's a regular flight path for things like barn owls and the bats. It's roosting for lots of birds. The bird expert looked in April. You've no idea what's happening there in the summer and the autumn. And there's been some very, very rare migrants that use that area a lot. And I think we're all very concerned about increased traffic on Sands Road going down to Hamilton Gap. It's already a dangerous road. It will be a lot worse because people from there are not going to go right through the main bay site. They'll let down Sands Road. And finally, we are aware that the whole site is up for sale, and this particular plot is available by separate negotiation. So it could be developed by somebody else. If that happens, I can't see that the access will go through the main site. They will open up the side access. Is there anything else?
Thank you very much. Any of the members of the public wish to have a Councillor Costello?
Yes, just
Sorry,
Mark Chippings from the Gap. Just really the overloading on the surrounding villages. I've parked in Hummonby most mornings every day, and each year I've had to park further and further back into residential areas to stop and use the co-op. I took photographs a week ago showing that there was no parking spaces whatsoever at 9 o'clock in the morning. You know, had to go well back into the residential area. Also, the visual impact on the coastline when you're coming down the new bypass. And if, as a council, you've got this balance of tourism, if we just sprawl out with yet more developments, the tourists, your discerning tourists going to want to go somewhere else. You don't want to go through past a housing estate to a nice beach. You know, and also the proximity to the road, all of the proposed houses are right next to the road as opposed to where their development already is. And I'm just thinking that has an effect on the people on Sands Road, yet they don't seem to be prepared to affect the houses that have already developed. You know, which, you know, as a resident is just a little bit annoying. You think they're not really, you know, no good attitude towards local people, and also, you know, the way they've got the bay private on the beach as well. I think it's a little bit, you know, not great for tourism. It's a little bit, you know, 24-hour security. It's all a little bit, you know, doesn't add to the whole feeling of the beach, you know, for general beachgoers.
Councillor Cockle?
Yes. First of all, I need to make it clear that this doesn't come within my Filey Town ward. That being said, I do have some concerns that it may be purely from a timing point of view that some of the replies from statutory consultees aren't in yet. Because when I was looking on the website just this morning, there was nothing back from county highways, which you would expect would have been a prime mover in this. Yorkshire Water's reply does state that they're pleased that the surface water will go down into the ponds. And there is also, they're asking for a condition on the discharge of foul water at a certain rate. I have taken this up with some of my officers who look after things like that, and they do have concerns about the integrity of the drainage system down to the rising main. So that point wants to be, you know, made very strongly. I do have some concern with other statutory consultees that they look at it purely from a theoretical point of view and not a practical and using local knowledge.
Just to add, sorry, I had an email from Natural England today. I haven't said anything as yet, but they are aware that it's copied in and said it to people, thank you. But they haven't put an objection or anything yet, but they will go to it.
Helen Chapman, Hungry Gap. I don't want to add anything else. There's a lot been said. I just wanted to ask a naive question, because it's the first time I've come to something like this. What is the process moving forward, and are you, as a council, able to reject it, or does it have to go somewhere else to be rejected? And how can us, as passionate members of the public, help to strongly object further?
Well, I'll let Gina explain the process to you, because you give it in the correct terminology.
Thank you.
The council is a consultee, so it can submit its comments on behalf of people that it represents. It goes to the planning authority, which is Scarborough Borough Council, and they have the final say on whether this application goes through. But members of the public can submit their comments online on the Borough Council website. You go on to the planning application. If you've got the agenda in front of you, the planning reference number.
Yes, we've done
that. It's Scarborough Council, the planning authority that has the final.
We can only pass our comments on. We've got no power to. So apart from objections, is there anything else we can do? Well, you seem to be very well versed in what you can do. You've got all your eggs lined up as far as I can see. We as a council have developing our list of concerns, which include all those national conservation issues, plus other things about the function room being prone to use of antisocial behaviour, exceeding traffic limits and all, you know. But then all your comments that you fed into us tonight will go to this as well as our planning meeting, which will all feed into the report we give Scarborough, which is, as I said, we are a constant team. We can't bring our borough councillors back in if they wish to speak, and then Councillor Haxby wishes to do it.
Just a quick one, you're right, if you put in yes, the complaint, whatever your views, whatever you look for or against to the council. The other thing I always say to people, like you've mentioned about highways and kind of council having come back, it doesn't do any harm to contact them to say you're concerned and why haven't you responded. Yorkshire Wildlife Trust again, I put something in, and for Natural England. I have to say what Natural England have put on to the Scarborough Council, quite frankly, is pathetic. You know, for an organisation that prosecutes people, an organisation only a couple of weeks ago was telling us how wonderful it was because it had given us a coastal path, to then turn around and say in the very vicinity of an area it wants people to walk down, that it doesn't really have an opinion. Well, it needs to get an opinion, because it shouldn't be taking public money if it doesn't have an opinion. If it wants those paths and it wants them protected, it needs to get its finger out and start protecting the landscape around it, and stop going to landowners saying we want you to own your land up, and then saying when somebody threatens it, oh well, it's nothing to do with us. It's absolute. I have to say their response, I think, has been absolutely disgraceful, and I will be taking it further because I appreciate you guys, but I would say to the public, do put them under pressure, because they need to be asked, what actually are you doing? Because you're quite happy to open this area up and encourage people to come here. You take to look at the coastline, it's wonderful, which it is. Protect us, help us protect us, help us do your job for you. And it's just something I felt very annoyed when I read it, but I would just say to people, please contact these people and tell them that you're not happy, because they need to hear it a lot, you know, that actually it's not good enough when you don't respond adequately. But anyway, this is my comment.
Councillor Coughlin?
Yeah, I'd just like to take the process a bit further. And, all right, let's presume that Scarborough Borough Council turn it down. I'll bet you bottom dollar that they will then appeal, and it will go to the planning inspector. And the planning inspector will only look at it purely from planning aspects. So any objections, I would strongly suggest, and this is picking up what Gina said right at the very start, you quote specific policies which are contravened by this. Don't just say, we don't want it. You know, that's an oversimplification. But come up with specific policies which any items contravene. That's the best way of doing it.
I'll reinstate Senator and Councillor Haxby.
Just a couple of points. Many of us, when we were kids, we recall being able to walk from Reeton to Filey along the cliff until a certain man that bought that piece of land blocked the public footpath off. And as I understand it, that's not yet been determined. That is still blocked off, and you can't actually walk from Flamborough to Filey via that piece of coast. You have to come up onto the main road and back into Filey, which again is going on from Natural England and everybody else. It's spoiling that aspect. But what really does worry me is the asbestos. And Councillor Cockrell will correct me, but when this site originally went on the market, if I remember correctly, there was a figure of somewhere of 2 million needed to remediate the site of asbestos and take it away. There were so many thousand tons, which was roofing, and I think the Environment Agency should be asked for a mass balance, because if asbestos was taken off-site, then it must have been recorded under all legislation. There is every piece of asbestos moved needs to be weighed, measured and detailed. So there would be a record of how much was on-site originally, how much went off-site, which will give you now how much is still buried on-site, if any. Because, you know, the last thing you want is somebody digging the garden and digging up more asbestos and this sort of thing. And that is a critical point, really. You know, we need to know where it's gone, if it's gone. So I think, again, as Michelle says, you know, we need to contact the relevant people and get their views on it and tie them down and say, look, We need a definitive answer to this.
Bring Councillor Cockrell back in.
Yeah, in partial answer to that, on the website there is a plan which shows the area of the landfill. It doesn't give any, quantities, but it does show you the area where, presumably asbestos from the chalice was dumped.
Well, standing order to suspended, bringing Graham again.
We've been fighting the housing development HA22, which this council policy can be saying about it. So those are the residents from Hunman Gap. There was a website set up which has a load of policy documents. The planning inspectorate, which is now going to meet in August, also has a list of all the policy documents there. So it's okay saying, well, we need to quote the correct policies. It's actually getting the policies in your hands. So the website is indicated in the library. There's a sign up the notice boards there, and you might want to access that.
I think it's probably fair to say, Madam Mayor, that in comparison to a lot of planning applications that have been involved, and I think the residents deserve a lot of credit for the relevance and I think the very insightful comments that they've made. I think this has been a very good example of how to actually do your homework by members of the public, and I think they actually deserve a lot of congratulations as well for the policy that they've added to this and this debate. So I think in this situation it's probably not a case of they haven't, sometimes you get it where you think you really aren't helping yourselves, but these guys I think actually have put really good work in. I think it's just building on that.
I think they've got their ducks lined up in a nice little row, and they have certainly presented their case in a very, very professional way. So thank you very much for your input this evening. I'll reinstate standing order and ask any councillors if they've got any more comments to make. Right then, you all have John, sorry, do you want to speak? No.
Sorry,
Agenda item 6A, you've had a list of that Gina's put together of the comments that she would like to make, and we have got quite a number to add this evening. Are we all happy as council to submit this with the amendments? Yes. Is that everybody? Yes. Show of hands, please.
And you're happy that we add to the feed into this what
members of the public have spoken about the previous.
Definitely.
So, can I just add something else? The lady who was speaking about the flight path of birds, FBOG being consulted in all this. Please report, Councillor Manor. Thank you very much. That's item 6A.
Could we have a vote on it and how the councils feel about it, for it or against it?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that our comments prove that we're against it, and we've accepted these comments as council.
I feel that everybody was against it, that was all.
Right, we will move on with the rest of the planning applications. You're quite welcome to stay, but if you've had enough of our company this evening, I will thank you for your time and your patience. Thank you very much. Sorry, now we're starting. Please remember to sign out on your way down. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Item 6B, which is the installation of a pitch roof at the Brick Shopping Centre Station Avenue, Filey Town, Oregon. Councillor Lake.
Right. Mr. Corrigan, Brick Shopping Centre. I suggest that we reject these plans as they are and send them back. The reason being, they are not a true record. On the back of the roof, that is Filey railway station, and it's showing a cabin. The cabin doesn't exist. And I'll take the photos tonight to prove it.
Just hold on 1 second. Can you say it again, Councillor Lake, because I'm slightly distracted there.
Right, on your third sheet in, proving the...
Third sheet in.
Yeah. The side elevation of the rear Filey station end is showing a cabin on the roof. That cabin does not exist.
We'll bring that sheet up on the screen. Are you referring to the one in the southwest elevation?
Yeah. Southeast elevation.
Southeast elevation.
The cabin at the rear, with what looks like railings around it, doesn't exist. So these plans are not a true record.
Would you like to show that on the red point?
It's actually dropping right in the top corner, top left hand corner. Spot.
The red one at the top. You need to press the red one. Red pointer at the top.
There.
Oh, that there.
Oh, right, yeah.
So that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist. The supports, which have got on it, the two supports you can see, they're still there. I'll take the photos of those tonight. That is the rear.
That's the rear.
Those are the two supports you can see where it has been. That's the rear of the building.
Do you know how long it's been down? So, are you saying to take it down in preparation for putting the picture in, or is it been down some time?
It's been down, according to Toby at the carpet station, it says it's been down 2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months.
So these plans are not a true record.
I don't know that that's got an actual bearing on the application, has it? It just looks like that might have been a defunct. I don't think it affects the application.
Well, it's not a true record, is it, the plans? We've done this before.
finance one.
This is from 2013.
You can see the picture.
Oh, to me, no, it's not there.
Yeah.
Is that showing that it's going to be removed for the festival?
Yeah.
Probably so. Members' comments, please? Councillor Hacksley.
Well, I appreciate Jeff's comment, but if you look at the northwest elevation, sorry, the northeast elevation, it isn't FFC, KFC, it's Scruffs and whatever else was next
So
door,
it's all out
which
there.
don't exist now.
Yeah.
But I would question whether this has any relevance to the application, it's just a change of use. Personally, I would suggest that a pitched roof might enhance that, what is now a bland, to me, ugly building. All I would comment on is that the pitch, to me, is irrelevant, it doesn't put enough pitch on it.
It seems to be very shallow.
It's an extremely shallow pitch. You know, I think it might do to be a few feet higher, but that is my personal opinion.
But perhaps it's at that angle to accommodate the masts that are there.
I don't know, Madam Chairman, but it can't get any worse than the bland, flat roof it is at the moment.
I can imagine a pitched roof would be easier to maintain than the flat roof that is there. Councillor Casey?
Yeah, I mean, taking into account what Councillor Mead said, it's totally relevant to the request to install a fixed roof, and I think it's going to only enhance, like Councillor actually said, the filling of the building. And I don't think we should send the plans back on the basis of this thing's been taken down 2 or 3 months ago.
Can I have, do we accept these plans or in favour?
I propose we accept it.
Here's your plans, please.
We've got a second from this proposal.
Councillor Hacksley, yeah.
I'm just looking at the southeast elevation again, and it shows that hut that Councillor Meeks referred to, back with the pitch roof on. Yeah. So they must be removing it and then
Replacing that.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
looking at that plan.
But it doesn't show it on the northwest elevation.
Again, it's just an example of the poor quality of plans that we get.
We normally look at.
I think whoever did these plans have just
Superimpose what they want.
superimposed what they want on it really, and I don't think that thing is going to ever come back. So, but we've had so many comments about poor quality of plans.
Well, we've submitted that comment innumerable times, haven't we?
Absolutely.
It's got herring on it, it's got...
Is it so old?
Yeah, it's very old.
But we just talking
But
about
that is,
roof, aren't
but that's no relevance to the roof as to who owns the building. Councillor Meek.
On the proposed plans, also, when you look at the south-east elevation again, where you see the image of the car, and then the recess going up to the snow club's veranda, on the proposed pitched roof is showing a pitched roof on there, but not on the proposed plans later on.
Say that again, Jeff.
Say it again.
Right. On your drainage and proposed roof plan, the first one,
The first, yes,
right, where the cars are parked, or the images of the cars,
yeah,
there's a pitched roof directly on the...
yes.
Right, so go to your last sheet. The side elevation for the southeast elevation, where the car is, there's no pitched roof there.
There is, because
There isn't.
there is.
It's there.
On that plan,
Oh, that's the one.
right?
Yeah, showing a picture of the
Pitched roof is in dark there.
Yeah.
Right, now go to the last sheet where the image of the car, it's not showing the pitched roof on that insert. No, not that.
That's the balcony, isn't it?
That's the balcony.
The balcony of the roof as well.
Balcony of the service.
That's above. The other one is
Could be different story.
that bit there is separate. But yeah,
That's the balcony.
and on the other one, that one, that is there. It runs right the way around the building.
Well, we've had that application in to put the pitched roof on that bit before, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, quite a while back.
We've had that.
Yeah, how many years is that?
No, recently, within the last couple of months to put that picture on it.
No,
Yeah.
longer than that.
But he never did it, did he?
No.
I thought we reviewed that, just not so much.
Has it been for over 3 years?
Because at the same time, he applied for that porch to be built, and he's never built that neither. But it's 2 years.
Still doing it, Benja. He's got 3 years. He's got 3 years for the planning before they have to reapply again. So
Right.
if it's only 2 years, he's still got the planning permission.
Doesn't
So
matter.
it's passed, as far as it's concerned.
What comments do you want to put in with regarding these plans?
Well, you've already had my proposal that we accept the plans as is really. We can add that the plans aren't up to the standard that we prefer. We've done that many times. But my proposal still stands that we accept the plans as is, and we don't object to the fixture up in front of you.
Any other comments? Did you second that, Sam? Right then. All those in favour of that?
Well, I'm all right, okay.
Right, okay then. Councillor Meek again. Item 3. Erection of rear extension and conservatory at 21 Lawford Road, Mr. Martin Hickey.
Now, you have had this one before, but, so the actual plans have been altered, but the Borough Council turned it down because planning permission been refused because this case, the proposals in this case are located in the drainage sensitive area. So they were saying that it didn't supply any drainage, and so until it could prove how much water and where they were going to put it, it wouldn't. So they have to resubmit it. And that first bit, you can't read very well, unfortunately, is their surface water runoff. Yeah, so the plans are exactly the same. They just have to supply the surface water runoff detail.
Do we accept that information?
We had no objections last time.
So if they comply with what we were asked to do? All those in favour? Thank you. The placement winds at 5 Melville Court for Mrs. Pete Sudars. You've got all the information in your...
I've only given you the bare basics, which is showing the new windows, but I do have photos of the existing, but I don't think you'd want them all, because what they're planning to put up is exactly the same as there's about 10 of these, exactly the same as what they're going to put up. I know it's not very good.
It's actually like that centre.
No plastic in there.
Yeah, we've had a lot of change, yes. Yeah.
We all okay with that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. E, disabled WC to rear of 89 Scarborough Road, 5 to Mr. and Mrs. Flowers. Where is that information? I don't know which one. 89 Scarborough, 5%. It's
Just above the entrance to the road. Yes, it's not quite as high up as Hazel Road, yes, it's just past the entrance to Grosvenor Road.
Entrance to the next one.
Yeah.
Not Grosvenor Road, that.
Sycamore.
Sycamore Avenue.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of space in the back there.
That's right.
You see, we're just filling in the space,
Yeah.
basically between the kitchen and the existing outside toilet and
Yeah.
store. They're just making it a bigger toilet.
Sensible use of space, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any objections? No. Thank you very much. Right then, we move on to item 7, election of members to committees. A, planning committee. To elect additional members to serve on the planning committee, are there any members willing to stand on the planning committee? How many people do we need in there?
We only have 5 members on the committee. We have full delegated power. This is why we're having to call special council meetings, because we haven't got really enough members to do big applications on this.
Are there any members who are willing to sit on the planning committee, please?
How many are short?
We've
Two,
two.
yeah. I mean, there is a council vacancy which probably one person should fill, but
But we still need somebody else.
yeah.
I'm already very sorry.
Well, to be honest with you, it's
Yeah, go on.
You will.
Councillor Walker, thank you very much.
Welcome, Council.
Is everybody in agreement?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Wow, we're talking about. I've only heard Council Walker mentioned, I didn't hear what he was mentioned for.
Be off, won't it?
Well, that's what we're talking about.
I know it is. Where this, no comment.
Right. So we will leave the other vacancy until we have our new councillor. Are we all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Right. B, property committee, to elect one member to serve on the property committee. Is there anybody willing?
Yes, please.
Diane? Do we all accept?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, thank you. Thank you very much, Councillor Sanders. Phew. Good. Right, we move on to A, minutes. To receive and, if approved, sign the minutes of the following and to make resolutions where necessary on the recommendations therein. And it's to do with Strategic Planning Committee, which is down in May. So we have recommendations on minute number 593/016, 594/016, 595/016 and 597/016. First of all, I'd just like to say that this is a true and accurate record of that strategic planning.
I do not have any minutes of it.
You're not? Well, they're not in your pack.
Okay.
Sorry, Councillor. Right, so we'll set these recommendations in order, and it's 593/016. It's resolved that a recommendation be made to the full council at the special meeting to be held on August the 8th, 2016, that all members of the town council agree to receive their agendas and associated correspondence by electronic format should the above quotation be accepted by, and the training given, which Finance Committee did accept, they did. So with a declaration to the effect that we receive our communications electronically be signed by each member. Do we accept that? We do. Are we all understanding that we will be receiving?
Sorry, it's not.
Are you not in favour, Maureen? Can we have a show of hands on those who do accept?
I mean, that's a shame if we can't get all councillors on it because the council have to sort of move forward in this respect. Maybe.
I just want to follow on the councillor myself. I just can't think. I can't be doing with all this going on. Hello? We're going to training, are we?
We're all receiving training on the council.
It's just too much. I get all too much.
It's like using your laptop now.
Yeah. Just to see if you're using your laptop.
Well, let's put it like this. I'll give it a trial.
That's good.
And if I am happy with it, I shall be leaving the council.
Well,
It's simple as that.
We should be doing our utmost to make sure that you are happy with what we're using. And we shall give you all the support we can.
Too many things are being forced on us, like recording and all things like that. I'm afraid it's going the wrong way to lead councils.
Well, no, it's been forced through your chair, and we've all voted for it, it's not forced.
You know, it's being forced back.
Councillor Shackleton, do you wish to say something?
No, I'm just going to say that I'm sure there'll be plenty of councillors who want to council that. I'll be one of those councillors that will support you, Marion.
I'll try it, see. Give it a trial.
And then you'll wonder why we didn't do it
Yes.
yesterday.
I'm very, very reluctant to leave stuff anyway. I like to know what I know. I like to read things and write things in, all things like that. But there you go.
Is it a tablet or a computer or a tablet? Tablet.
Sorry, could I suspend standing orders and allow Councillor Cockle to
If it's any comfort to Councillor Wright, if some of our colleagues on the Borough Council can handle it, I'm sure Councillor Wright.
I could just remind Councillor Cockle that we are being recorded this evening.
Oh, thank you very much. Shall we move on to the minute number 594/016. It's resolved that the recommendation be made to the full council at the special council meeting held on August the 8th that the town council submits an expression of interest to the borough's council's formal planning team to commence the drawing up of a neighbourhood plan for the parish of Filey. Are we all happy to accept that recommendation? Thank you very much. Right, the next recommendation is 595/016. Resolved that recommendation be made to full council that the above changes to the standing orders 3 brackets Y, 3 brackets Z and 15B brackets 1 be noted by all the members of the town council and stand adjourned without discussion until the council meeting on the 14th of September 2016, at which the council will be requested to accept the above changes to standing orders so noted. You've all had sight of the highlighted in yellow the changes we're making or proposing. Marion, have you read them?
Yes.
Yeah. It's changes to the dress code. It's mainly to comply with equality and diversity. And that they agreed to sign an election.
There's a question. Surely that doesn't apply to the cleaner. And he is part of staff. You don't expect a cleaner to come in and smell.
Pending meetings it is.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misunderstood that.
Yeah.
I thought it was to wear in the office. I was going to say.
All in favour of that recommendation then? Thank you. Minute number 597/016. Resolved that a recommendation be made to full council that it be recorded that Filey Town Council has achieved the local quality award scheme at quality level and is the first council in Yorkshire to achieve this new award. And I think the staff deserve full credit and congratulations for achieving that on our behalf.
That's been a team effort, especially working with the strategic planning committee, who've given a lot of time to it as well. So I had hoped that, and I had thought that probably if I went to that meeting, the certificate would have arrived, but it hasn't come as yet. So as soon as it's
But it's a great achievement, I'm very proud of that, and I was shouting that out at Yorkshire Day very loudly to all of us in Halifax. So, well, it's something to be proud of. It's a great achievement for us.
We actually urge it.
Good, so I can shout fucking loud when I'm open. Right, number 9, I think we have touched on this. Is anything else to add to Coastal Communities Fund? Gina, have you anything to add?
Just to make members aware really of what the criteria is for this development. The main emphasis is on creating employment, apprenticeships, increase in visitor numbers, new tourism facilities which are created, new marina berths created, new tourism events supported, new or upgraded floor space, for example, craft workshops, renewable energy projects or good coastal defence projects.
So, any councillors have anything?
It's quite wide-ranging that, and I can see that it should involve a lot more than the council on it, and I think it should be set up as a working party, so that other members of the public could join on the working party, and in association with the Chamber of Trade and the Tourism Association, you know, those sorts of people, because surely they've got good ideas, and they're the people on the ground and they know what people are saying and the holiday makers are saying. So I think that it should be set up more as a working party for you know, people to come give their ideas or just open meetings. It's entirely up to you.
Well, I think strategic planning did touch on this and said that the town centre working party that is in the process of being set up would include all these bodies.
Yes.
And so that will be one of their first.
It definitely does, I think.
Well, that was the whole purpose of the town centre working party, was it not?
Yes. Sorry for you, Chair. The strategic planning committee also requested that a borough officer attend the next meeting from the regeneration department,
right,
to give guidance on whether, you know, because Filey is part of the borough, whether they could give some experience or probably submit bids for it. It's quite a complicated process to submit bids.
And I think that the officers that do this should be working for Filey Town Council the same as they're working for Scarborough Borough Council. You know, because we are the borough, and they are borough officers that work for everybody. They don't work for specifics, you know, and I think it should be really pointed out to them about it.
Just to spend standing on it now, I think.
Just briefly, Madam Mayor, I think just putting a note of interest, the two bids that were successful last time in the burn, there's a few that went in. One was Filey Lighthouse. Quickly Lighthouse and the Cinder Track. And I get the impression, because of CCLG, they go for ones that look very good. in press releases. So bear that in mind, they like something very symbolic. So a lighthouse looks good, it attracts a big thing. It's just worthwhile, even though you might get a bid in, bear in mind what the pitches they're putting. So it's worthwhile looking at the type of projects they actually give money to across the country, because there may well be something that's quite symbolic in Filey that might be more likely to attract that funding. And I think it's just something to bear in mind. There's lots of good ideas being expressed, but they may not get the money in these rounds. And that's just from experience, that's all I'd say. Just the word of that.
Thank you very much. I'm reading it, standing on. Councillor Casey, you wish to speak?
Well, it was just really exactly what Councillor Wright said, really. But what she said was all discussed by strategic planning, and there was a strong thing in there that we involve Scarborough Council and get an allocated officer to move that forward. So, I mean, that's a must. So we know where we stand, certainly for guidance, but it doesn't rule out the possibility of employing someone to write a bid, possibly in the future, if we come up with enough ideas. And the idea of putting it on the agenda tonight was also to get councillors to put the thinking caps on and come up with some ideas, other than the ones that we mentioned at the last meeting, some which are already been mentioned this evening by Malin. You know, because this is not an exhaustive list, we need a long list of things to discuss and look at, and then pick the most appropriate one.
Councillor Shaw?
Could this include the toilets that we may inherit from Scarborough Council? Could we apply and bring some up to higher tech, higher spec, you know? There's a lot of money that would need to be spent on them.
Sorry, visitor experience.
Well, we could put a tourism screen on the inside of the door.
Not all of them, just maybe a couple.
Whether that's symbolic.
Right, so it's councillors get thinking caps on, ready for the next consultations on this. Right, we'll move on to item 10, request to obtain or present information. Items being notified to the town mayor or the town clerk prior to this meeting and being of an informative nature only. Have any items been brought to your attention? And none have been brought to mine. So, to that end, I'll declare this meeting closed. Thank you very much for your attendance.